As we begin this series about making wise investments, we're going to start by looking at a passage in Matthew 16. In this passage that we're going to read, Jesus described the value of the soul. Matthew 16, verses 24 through 26. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world but forfeits his soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul?" Here in this passage, Jesus is talking about the nature of discipleship. To be a disciple is to follow Jesus, is to allow him to guide us and to lead us, that we do what he has instructed. We continue to learn from him and become more like him. He's called us to be disciples. But in order to be his disciple, we need to be willing to take up our cross and follow him. We need to be willing to lay down our life for him. Now, why would we do that? What is the benefit for us in laying down our life for him? Well, many people aren't willing to do this. They don't look beyond this life, and so it seems silly to them that they would lay down their life for Jesus or for anyone else. But we need to be looking past this life, and that's what he's talking about here, where he talks about the soul. It goes beyond this life. What we are preserving, what we are saving, that life that we are hoping to gain is beyond our life here, beyond what we see here on the earth. And so we have to make that choice between those two perspectives. Are we going to focus on the things here in this world, or are we going to focus on things that are eternal, to the preserving of our soul? Because he says here in this passage, he asks the question in verse 26, what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Most people around us, and we can be tempted into doing this as well, get so caught up in pursuing the things of this life, in accumulating all sorts of possessions, in following after and working towards success in this life, and being popular and influential and all of these things. They want to be wealthy. They want to have everything they want in this life. There's a temptation to do that. Well, what if we do that? What if we spend all of our time, all of our life pursuing these things? Well, what if we gain them? Now, in reality, we're not going to gain the whole world, but what if we would gain the whole world? What if we were able to obtain that? Jesus asked the question, well, what would it profit then? What if you did gain the whole world? What would it profit if you gained the whole world, but you forfeited your soul? Our soul is worth more than anything and everything in this world. And the reason for that is because the things of this life are temporary. They don't last forever. Our soul, on the other hand, is eternal. And if we neglect our soul for the things of this life, and we won't gain the whole world, we're only going to get a small part of it. If we forfeit our soul because we're so focused on the things of this life, what does it profit? We neglected our spiritual well-being. We did not follow Christ. And so Jesus asked the question, what will you give in exchange for your soul? If you gain the whole world and then at the end your soul is lost, what trade could you make with God? That, well, what can I give? What can I provide you that my soul can be saved? Nothing. God doesn't need any of that. There's nothing that we can give in exchange for our soul. We'll be lost because we've pursued the things of this life to the neglect of spiritual things and the well-being of our eternal soul. So we need to remember that our soul is more valuable than anything in this world. And so if we're going to make wise investments and secure our future, we need to start with this realization that our soul is more valuable than anything in this world. And so we need to be making sure that our soul is healthy, that our soul is preserved and kept for the future, that we don't lose our soul, but instead we are following Christ. We are learning from Him. We are allowing Him to guide us in the direction that He wants us to go. And if we will do that, He can save us. Our soul can be preserved. But we have to have the right perspective. Pursue spiritual things, eternal things, more than the things of this life.